What is up, guys? ImocrosTV here, back at you with another video. Today we're going to be doing something different. I've been playing a game called Wayfinder. I've put in quite a bit of time into the game. I've finished the whole game, etc. But I've been playing with a lot of people, and the question I'm getting most is, how do you make builds? I have a build for almost every character. I'm actually leveling Grendel right now, and I got the question again tonight. So I just decided I'll make a video, and everyone can make use of it whenever they want to go back to it or just use it as some inspiration. I don't have a editing software, so I'm gonna have a notepad here to the left and an image, so everything goes properly. So without further ado, let's get into how to build your character in Wayfinder. I've stripped the character of pretty much everything, just using simple gear and the lowest weapon I have. And I'm gonna try to explain the way I do it. It doesn't mean it's the best way, but I hope it helps. The first thing I personally do is check the abilities of the Wayfinder. In this case, it's Grendel. And the first thing I tend to read is their passive. This usually tells you what the character is meant for. Basically, this says when you break an enemy, you get a buff that increases your movement speed, your damage, and reduces the damage you take. So you want to break the enemy's guard as much as possible to keep this buff up. And then I read the rest of the abilities. You can basically ignore this one. This one is for your weapon, your equipped weapon. After reading the abilities, you need to decide for yourself, do you want to build around your weapon or your abilities? In this case, I really like Grendel. This is a tremor. It goes forward, damages people. He has a leap that if you upgrade it, it gives you movement speed. And he has a whirlwind, which I really like. His ultimate makes him do more damage, etc, etc. 15 seconds, you become very zugzuggy. I want to build the character, personally I want to build the character based on his abilities. One very important thing to know is abilities in this game do not require any energy, mana, rage, or any kind of resource. The only limiting factor is the cooldown of the ability. The game doesn't show you the cooldown in this screen, you can't read it anywhere. But if you use the ability, you will see a timer telling you how long is left on the ability. Every ability can have up to 3 upgrades, but you only have 5 upgrade points available. Depending on your Wayfinder level, which I will show here, Wayfinder rank I should say. When this rank goes up, you get pretty much quite a bit of point of affinity, talent points and ability points, and it's based on how far you've leveled your other characters. I have 2 of them that haven't reached 30 yet. So before I pick what abilities I want to upgrade, I usually go to Affinity. Affinity, you basically have, once everything is at its max, you have 31 points. And you can spend them however you would like, in however way you would like. Before I do that, I go through the actual perks and I read them. You can see if I spend 5 points in Instinct, I unlock Anger Surge, which is a passive. It says while in Blood Rage, deal 10% increased break damage. That is something I want, because dealing more break damage means that I will break enemies faster, getting back into Blood Rage faster, and I keep the increased damage, the reduced damage taken, etc. So that's something interesting. If I go down here, it says if you break an enemy while in Blood Rage, gain 1 stack of anger. Anger increases the outgoing damage and reduces the incoming damage by 3%. If you exit Blood Rage, you lose the buff. Well, it sounds interesting. More damage done and less damage taken. This says guard breaking an enemy generates more ultimate charge. So usually every time you guard break an enemy, you get a little bit of ultimate. Now you will get more, etc. And I read all those. This says increase weapon damage, which for me is not going to be interesting because I decided to build the Wayfinder as an ability damage dealer. So my abilities will be dealing the damage. I will have no use in putting points in discipline so far. I will explain later on, there might be a slight change. But maybe this one might be very good, or this one. In this case, they are not that great. Gain 2% extra damage for each heat of battle combo. Well, I'm not going to be using a lot of combos. I'm going to be spamming my abilities as much as possible. Then we go to the purple one, the focus. Increase the ability power by an additional 5%. Well, that is very nice. I want as much ability power as possible so I can do more damage. And Grendel generates 1% health per second while he's guard broken. I'm not expecting to be guard broken, so this is less interesting. And then guard breaking an enemy causes an AoE explosion that applies break to nearby enemies. This is very interesting. However, it's 25 points and it's competing with building more ultimates. This is the one I personally go for. The reason why I tend to check this out before I choose an ability is because for some Wayfinders it would say, as an example, if you use your first ability, you get 1 second cooldown on all your other abilities. So that might impact your choice of upgrades for your abilities. So now that I know I want this upgrade, Anger Boon, I will have 25 points to spend in the yellow part, in the instinct, and I will have 6 points left. Well, I would be able to choose between increased weapon damage or increased ability power. I want the ability power, so that's what I'm going to take. I'm just gonna do that quickly. Actually, I'll leave this for later so you can see what happens when you choose the proper gear with it. So my abilities, I personally like to use Whirlwind. It deals quite a bit of damage and it heals you if you upgrade it to level 3. You can see that here. Heals 2% of the max HP whenever you hit a broken target. This also helps if your HP pool is bigger. That 2% is going to be more, and it's going to be more effective. The way I play is in this case, I take the increased movement because I would like the speed. I take 3 into Whirlwind, so I get the increased damage, increased resource regeneration and healing. And I take 1 point in Tremor because it causes Tremor to recover the cooldown of Whirlwind, so to speak. This is what I do with my abilities. Okay, then we go. So if you remember here at Affinities, I'm gonna spend 25 points in yellow and 5 or 6 in purple. The reason that is important, and you want to do that first before choosing your the rest of your gear. If I would go here, you can sort here, and I would like to sort by power rating. It's already there. I would like to have a set of items. If you have a complete set, I would like to have a set of items that gives me plus 10% ability power. If you don't have a set of items, you want to preferably take an item that has plus ability power. So if you see my mouse right here, plus ability power on yellow. So what this is gonna do, I'm gonna equip the item. If I go to my Affinity now, it says if I give it a yellow upgrade, it's gonna upgrade my ability power. If I upgrade 1 point into discipline, it's gonna upgrade my break. And if I upgrade my focus, it's gonna upgrade my physical defense. And the reason is, for this ring, the ring of broken fate, it's ability power yellow, break power green, and physical defense purple. So if we go to check it again, out here, so you see those colors are actually very important, especially if you don't have a complete set. If you have a complete set, the 10 power total ability power is actually gonna be more valuable than the plus 70 increase and so on and so forth for every upgrade. So I would like to equip this full set. So I'm gonna need the Necklace of Mayhem and the Bracer of Broken Fate. I'm gonna equip the Necklace of Mayhem, which is gonna give me crit rating when I upgrade the yellow, and weapon power, which is doesn't do much, to be honest, but yeah, it's better than nothing. So I'm getting the crit rating, and I can get the 10% ability power, which is way bigger than any other upgrade you can have. And for the third slot, I'm gonna need the Bracer of Broken Fate to actually have the 10% instead of 5%. Yeah, this is looking to be quite a long video. I hope you guys can stick it out here. I'm gonna go into weapons. This is where the affinity is gonna be the most important, especially for a Wayfinder that you build for abilities. You want a weapon that helps with that. I'm gonna be putting 25 points into instinct. And as you can see, as we said before, it increases plus 7 ability power here, plus 7 crit rating, and plus 10 physical defense. The same thing is going to be true for a weapon. So if you're not going to be using your weapon, if you have a Wayfinder like Kairos, for him, he can have his abilities have no cooldown at all if you build properly. At that point, it doesn't matter what weapon you're holding. It's if you want a min-max, you want something with as high ability power as possible, and a secondary stat that suits you, either HP, crit, break, depends on whatever you're building. For Grendel, we want ability power first, and a secondary. Usually you would go for break, but I want HP. I like to be survivable. I don't want to have to jump out every time whenever something happens, and that is very important for me personally. So what I do here is basically the same. Sort it to ability power, and then check which item has the highest ability power plus life, or HP rather, under yellow, because that is where I'm gonna be putting most of my points. If we see the legacy here, it has ability power crit, close but not completely there. This one would give me magical defense and resilience, which would make me very tanky and unbreakable basically, but that is not what I'm looking for. I'm looking to do more damage by holding the weapon I'm holding. I know which one I'm gonna be using. Yeah, I've been I've been putting in quite some time into this game, and that's this one, the Queen Spire. As you can see, I have three of them. However, they have different slots. Each one of them has this fork thingy. I'll show you that later under echoes. This one has two defensive and one, I don't know what they call it, magical. And this one has two offensive and one defensive, which fits properly. The offensive ones, the sword ones, usually have high attack power, ability power, break, or crit. And if I would look for crit under defensive, it would be either very low or non-existent, as an example. So this is the weapon I'm going to be choosing, and it has health and ability power. So when I choose it and I go to Affinity, you can see every point I put in increases my ability power, my health, my ability power, my crit rating, and physical defense. So I'm just gonna put in a couple points and then go on ahead, because I can't cut the video. I don't want you to sit here and watch me click stuff. So once that is done, you can check your armor set. You get this as you're playing the game. I've set it to this one. I have basically the best armor set and a couple pieces of the second best. There are a couple pieces you can't compete with. Plus 6% ability power and 12% break power. This is an auto pick. This is your best in slot. 12% HP, 6% ability power. Crit, magic defense. This one, I'll come back to this one. Weapon power and break power. Break power is so nice that the weapon power 6% doesn't matter. Because if I would compare those stats with this as an example, this one says break power 7% and crit power 7%. The crit power is very nice that it's 7%, and it's more valuable than the weapon power 6%. But having the break power at 12% instead of the 7% makes it way more valuable once again. This is crit and defense, but I don't have better really. I have break power here 4%, and I honestly don't mind a bit of magical defense. I like having a sturdy character that can take some damage. The only item that is not good is actually this one, physical defense and weapon power. It's very good if you're building for weapon damage, but the only other two I have are, well, break power. This one's actually pretty good, so I could use this one. And crit rating, break power. I'm losing on the physical defense, but I guess it's nice to have. So we went through the abilities, affinities, and then we have talent points. I'll come to the echoes in a little bit, as soon as we finish the talent points. So the way I personally set up the talent points is based on what I want to do with the character. As I said before, I'm building an ability-based character, so I don't just want ability power, but I want to be able to use my abilities as much as possible. And that is so crucial that it's hard to explain. It's if you can use your abilities twice as much, that's basically doubling your damage, especially if your damage is coming from those abilities. Before you start, every character has 3 of those big notes. This one is basically if you want to be tanking with a shield or a parry weapon. This one says 20% of your max HP is converted to weapon power. I'm not going to be using weapon power. And this one says every time you use an ability, you heal yourselves and allies around you. And it says you can only have one of them. I just said that. So I know for myself, I'm going to be going toward this one, because as I'm spamming my abilities, I'm going to be able to heal myself and everyone around me. Is it really mandatory? If I could choose between this or 16% cooldown, I might go for the 16% cooldown if I'm playing in a group with a healer, but this makes you very, very survivable. And I'm gonna show you that in a little bit. Aside from this logo, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. Those things here, yeah, this one, heroism, and this one, those are cooldown reductions. So every one of those nodes gives you 4.25% cooldown reduction. Then you have those purple triangles. Those are very important as well. This one gives me 4.25 CDR cooldown reduction. But if I would take this one and this one as well, all three of them become double the value. So this 4.25 becomes 8.5% cooldown reduction. This becomes 72 times 2, which is 144. Same for this, becomes 144 weapon power. So if you do the math, if this is something I want and this is something I want, this costs 2 points. If I put a point in one thing that I actually don't really want, this becomes something worth 2 points, and this becomes something worth 2 points. So I want as much of the heroism nodes as possible, so I can spam my abilities one after another. And there is one very, very, very important node if you're building for ability, and that's this one. Weapon abilities charge an additional 15% faster. Your weapon abilities allow you to charge your ultimate faster as well. So this is a very, very nice one to have. So the way the reason why is your weapon abilities break the enemy faster, and if you remember, if you break the enemy's guard, you regenerate more ultimate, you pop your ultimate, you break faster, and it becomes one loop. The way I had my build set up here is I went from here just to pick those points and this one here. Oh, this is something I really like as well. So I'm just gonna do it, and if there are questions about why I did it this way, so I'll go to this one. As I explained, this one is very important. This is a triangle that has cooldown reduction and crit power. That's something I like. So I'm taking this and I'm filling in those points. Yeah. I actually don't need this point. Yeah, I might respec this actually. This could get me something else, something different. I guess I'm optimizing my build as well on the fly. So did I have here this point? I have an image of my old build here so I can see it. The reason, as I said, the reason I routed this way is because I can get most, if not all, of the cooldown reduction. Oh, as you can see, if you look here, this says 4.25% cooldown reduction. This one says 8.5 because all three of the nodes are activated. I'm gonna continue. This one is very nice as well. You can pause the video if you would like to read it. I did something wrong. Oh, yeah, I put a point in here that shouldn't be there. So if you basically remove that one, I'm gonna have to find a way to let you guys skip. To let you guys skip in the video. I have 5 points left. I messed something up. I'll come back to it later. Anyways, the echoes, yeah. So I'll explain it with just one piece. Let's see, with 2 pieces. If I would go here, it's usually set to power rating. If I click on attack power slot, if you can see that here, empty attack type slot, you will see that the most powerful echoes are filled with offensive stats, as I said before, either attack damage, ability power, crit power, or break. What I want is ability power over everything, basically. I want to do as much damage as possible and scale that as much as possible. So if I set this to ability power, you're gonna see that I have this one. I already have this one equipped. I have this one equipped on Grendel already, and this one I don't have equipped. It gives me almost 600 ability power, which is amazing. So I'll take that one. If I go with the highest power rating on this one, it's gonna be defensive stats. So this one has resilience, this one has health and defense, etc. As I said, I really think health is very good in this game. So I'm not gonna go for resilience and magic defense. I'm gonna pick the health, the one that gives most health. So I'll set this one to max health. And that's this one with 400 health. This one has a little bit less and gives some resilience. 400 health, we get that one. This is a combined slot, so it could have all kind of things. So this one has ability power and defense. So this one is basically ability power, which is offensive, defense, and magic defense, which is a defensive slot. This one can basically combine all kind of things. This one has weapon damage, which is offensive, and break power, which is also offensive. So you can choose from those. Those are upgradable, by the way. You can see here on the left side, you can see this thing has been upgraded 5 times, and that's why it glows like this. If you're on PC, you press F or R. I think it was F. Yeah, F, and then you can upgrade it 1 level or all the levels, but I'm not gonna spend it on on that item. Yeah, and this one is a balance slot, and it has always 2 opposite stats of one another. So this one has crit and defense, this one has HP and crit, and this one has break power and defense. So build it to your liking. If you say, okay, I want more damage now, then go for ability power and then some defensive stance. This case it's ability power and magical defense. Or you can say I want crit rating as an example. I wouldn't use that with Grendel, But as an example, if you want crit rating, you're gonna get crit rating and HP, or crit rating and physical defense. I think that covers pretty much everything. Yeah, let me check my note. Yeah, we did the abilities, we did the affinity, we did weapons, we did the accessories. Yeah, I guess we have everything, and it became a 30-minute video. If you stuck around, if you have any questions, yeah, just let me know in the comments. I'll try to keep up with everything you asked, and I honestly hope it helps someone. And maybe I'll make a video which is a bit shorter with less explanation, that links to this one if you need more explanation, because 30 minutes is quite a bit. I'm gonna cut the video, guys. Uh, if you stuck around, thank you. Let me know what you think, and up until the next one. Peace.